Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Family Time. Family Time, of course, is right now, and you can join us via FB and YouTube. So call your friends, call your neighbors. It's time for Family Time. Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries, and our aim is to enable healthy families, which will lead to healthy nations. So stay with us and please join in via all our platforms. FB and YouTube, which are live, and via Instagram. I am Reverend Lawrence Davids, and it's my pleasure to be here with you. A book came out in the late 1950s, written by Edith Clark, and it was entitled My Mother Who Fathered Me. Ever since that expression came about, countless persons embraced it. Some of us have let it go since, but it seems like there's some truth to it, or is it so? Well, there are many persons who were raised by single mothers and many persons who were mothered by women all by themselves. Well, while we praise single mothers for their great jobs they have been doing, a father's role can never be undertaken by the mother. And this evening, we're going to tell you why. Hence our title, Why Mother Can't Father Me. But while we talk about that, we want to hear what you have to say about the question, what can a father do that a mother cannot? Contact us via WhatsApp text or voice notes and ensure that those voice notes are no longer than 30 seconds. Send those messages or voice notes to 876 997 3125 or call the studio lines at 876 968 8327 or 876 968 8328 to participate. You can also watch us and comment live on Love 101 Facebook and on YouTube. We'll be right back with our special guest, counseling psychologist, host of The Counselor here on Love 101, lecturer, writer, and actress, Dr. Joan Pitney. Don't go anywhere.
Some records suggest that there are over 100 miracles recorded in the Bible. Some say as much as 150. Of this number, how many were received by men? From raising the dead to healing the withered hand and replacing a chopped off ear, do such miracles still happen today? Tuesday, June 27 on The Rock, join host Bishop Harold Steve Blair and guests Pastor Christopher Kennedy and RT Reverend Garth Minot as they discuss the topic Miracles of the Bible, Healed Men. That's The Rock, Tuesday, June 27 at 10 a.m. here on the family station Love 101.
Get ready for an inspiring time inside Love in the Morning with me, your host, Jokal Dyer, this Tuesday, June 27. Grab your cup of coffee and start the day right with Morning Coffee Pick-Me-Up Devotional at 6 a.m. Then at 7 a.m. we bring you The Morning Watch with intriguing and thought-provoking discussions. At 8:30 a.m. inside Healthy Way, we discuss Gaucher disease. Stick and stay with us this Island Vibes Tuesday inside Love in the Morning, 5 to 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101. Celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
Welcome back to Family Time on Love 101. And welcome back also to Dr. Joan Pitney, our special guest this evening. How are you, Dr. Joan?
I am well, thank you. I am
Yes,
well. How are you?
I am doing quite well. I made it home early this evening from the traffic, and so I feel quite
Great.
accomplished. All right.
Well, I'm
Thank
the
you.
opposite. I haven't made it home yet,
All right. And I'm so
but
happy that you're with
that's
us.
fine.
All
Yes,
right.
thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. So, Dr. Joan will be with us for the rest of this hour. Now, remember, we want to hear from you, our audience. What can a father do that a mother can't? Please WhatsApp us or send us voice notes. Make sure that those voice notes are no longer than 30 seconds to 876-997-3125. You can watch us and comment live on Love 101 Facebook and YouTube. Or call the studio lines 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328 to participate. Well, as we know, time flies really fast on this program. So let's jump right in. Dr. Joan, can you tell us who is a father?
Well, a father is basically a male parent who has begotten a child. I've heard some fathers who said, "Oh, I got three children, I got two," and but I think that they've finally come to the place where they say, I didn't just get a child, that I was part of the pregnancy as well. So I would have had three children. Yeah, so a father is really a male parent who has begotten a child. And of course, that can be biological, or it can be that the father would have adopted a child formally, or the adoption could be informally, say a niece or a nephew, or someone that you decide to care for in that regard.
All right, thank you so much. Well, so who is a mother?
Well, the opposite of the father. I'm just kidding. The mother is the mother is really the female parent who is the one who usually carries the child, as in her womb, and she there is that biological connection as well, or it could also be adopted, similar to the father. So both mother and father are party to the child coming into being.
All right, thank you so much. So, why does the phrase, my mother who fathered me, why does it seem true? Is it possible?
Well, let me answer the first part of the question, why it seems true.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a catchphrase and it has been around for a while, and it resonates with a lot of person, or resonated, perhaps not as more now as it did then, because of the absence of the father or a father figure in the home. And so it forces the single mother to be the head of the household, to set up the hierarchy. So very often she is the only member of the hierarchy within the family. Or she may have her mother, who will be the grandmother of the children, or she may have other siblings, but she would be the primary provider. And so traditionally, we know that the father, based on the Bible and based on several cultures that we have adopted over time, that the male is the head of the household. And so the fact that a female is carrying those roles, it seems natural to just see the mother as the person who's fathering. But I think Edith Clark's intention was to not to show that the mother was taking over the role, but basically to show that you do have a lot of mothers who are single mothers and who are really caring for their children, who are being the provider, the protector, the head of the household, the hierarchy, and single-handedly. And I must say, as you also said it, and I just reiterate that I really lift my hat and bow and clap and all the various accolades to those single mothers who have been there for their children, particularly those mothers who have parented boys. I'm known of mothers who have had 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boys alone and have brought them up and they have turned out well. So kudos to those mothers. But the idea though is really that she's the head of the household, she's the hierarchy, so to speak, she's a provider, the protector, and the person who everybody turns to. And usually that role is held by the father within the household.
All right, thank you so much. So we celebrated Father's Day not so long ago. And while on Mother's Day, there was a lot of excitement. I must say, I didn't see an equal amount of excitement or anything close to it where Father's Day is concerned. Why do you think that is so?
Well, the fathers are complaining. A gentleman came to my office and he says, this is Thursday. And he said, do you see the basket on Half-Tree Road? And you see any road? So I said, I saw of you. He says you could probably count it. You have to get a magnifying glass to find the basket. You remember what happened last month? I said, yeah. He says, that's not fair. And I said to him, well, you're a good father, but it's unfortunate that the impression in the hearts of a lot of Jamaicans are traditionally the fathers have not been stepping up to the plate. Another thing that came to my mind too is the fact that fathers tend not to appear to like those kinds of celebratory things, those mushy stuff and those kinds of chocolate and those things. They tend to go for the more hardy stuff. And so those kinds of emotional, circling in those emotions and oh my God, and those kinds of, the men are not like that. And so you find that kind of celebration that is awarded to the mother is not given to the father, because fathers don't gravitate toward that open expression of emotion. But I think the bottom line is that traditionally the fathers have not really stepped up, and so the celebration of the father has not been as it should be. I think things have changed, but it is still not, and maybe because there's a greater bond between a mother and a child by virtue of the fact that she has carried the child. But I believe that there can be equal bond between the father and the child as well.
All right, thank you so much. Now remember to tell us, what can a father do that a mother can't? And WhatsApp or text us or send us a voice note, no longer than 30 seconds, to 876-997-3125. You can watch us and comment live on Love 101 Facebook and YouTube, or call the studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328 to participate. With Dr. Joan, and I am just so interested to hear what more she has to say.
I wanted to tell you a little story, a short story about a male student in Jamaica.
I'm going to allow you to tell me the story on the next side of the break.
Okay,
that's We're going to take a little break now, and we'll be right back.
Sure.
Educom does it again with the mega car loan sale. 100% financing, interest rate of 6.95% and up to 10 years to repay. Hurry now and visit any of our 9 branches. Call Educom at 876-926-6973 or WhatsApp 876-559-7575 for more info. Educom Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Value through service.
Need a qualified counseling psychologist to help you navigate life and challenges? Call Andre Allen Casey with over 10 years of experience in resolving relational issues, therapeutic interventions for couples, families, and individuals. Andre Allen Casey, licensed associate counseling psychologist with offices at 20 West Kings House Road, Kingston 10. Open Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Telephone or WhatsApp 876-360-6594 or email andreallen_casey@yahoo.com. Andre Allen Casey, counseling with a difference.
We can light up your world with the rays of the sun, putting your energy in the palm of your hand.
For over 20 years, Fosrich has been putting a world of energy in your hands. Now we bring you big savings with our line of solar energy products and LED lighting. Financing now available for all your home and commercial retrofit projects. Consult with our in-house staff or certified professional engineers for all your electrical needs. Fosrich Lifestyle. It's electric. Fosrich, your energy world.
At Flow, we are determined to get it right. Now, over 60% of Jamaica has access to our FiberFast network, with over 800 communities being upgraded since 2020. And there's more to come. Everything we're doing is inspired by our harshest critic, you. Join Jamaica's FiberFast network and rediscover Flow today.
Has it ever happened to you that you're scrolling on social media, spending the afternoon, and suddenly you accidentally give your crush a like? Don't get heated. Cool off with a Sprite. Dare and leave them a direct message. Who knows? They might even answer you. Sprite.
Cubby's Baby Wipes is ideal for your baby's delicate skin, infused with vitamin E and aloe vera, and available for home or on the go. The time by Cubby's Baby Wipes is
All right, welcome back. It's now 5:47, and we're right here with counseling psychologist and the host of The Counselor here on Love 101, Dr. June Pickney. She is our special guest this evening. Now, remember to tell us, what can a father do that a mother can't? You can WhatsApp us or text us or send a voice note no longer than 30 seconds to 876-997-3125. Watch us and comment live on Love 101 Facebook and YouTube, or call the studio lines 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328 to participate. WhatsApp your text and voice notes. Make sure they're no longer than 30 seconds. And we're looking to hear from you. All right. So for some reason, the phrase "my father who mothered me" never gained as much traction as its reverse. And we'll look at that in a little while. But Dr. Joan, you had a story that you wanted to tell me.
Right. I was about to share with you that a male student, he was making a presentation to a parenting forum at his high school here in Jamaica. And he was giving credit to parents, and particularly he was highlighting his mom for the way that she raised him and his siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And he praised her for standing by them and ensuring that their needs were met. And he said to him, there's no one like his mom, yeah? But he said, even though she gave of her best, there's something that he felt that was missing, like there's a void in his life.
Yeah.
And he said, not just because his friends had their mother and father, but because he just knew that there's a part of him that wanted that same gender. And he said, I wanted my father to teach me how to fix a bicycle, to teach me how to treat a lady, or just being there for me. And he said he never had that. And I've heard boys who have said, and girls who have said they've had persons who have been there, male figures and so on, but it's not the same when it is your biological connection. Just thought I would mention that.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that story. Thank you so much. because it leads us to a very important question. What is it that fathers really bring to the table? Because here we are saying, you know, I'm a mother and I can be a father as well. Persons are
Mhm.
saying that. So
Mhm.
if it's not so, then what is it exactly that a father brings to the table?
Well, as Julia Andrews said, let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. So God created male and female, and He did that in His wisdom because He recognized that there are certain things that each would bring to the life of a child that the other couldn't. And so, just by the biological difference, when you look at a male and you look at a female, they are substantially different, yeah, in various forms, and from the all through the developmental stages. And so, a woman, a mother who has never been a man, cannot represent masculinity to a child. So, the father in his maleness will be able to teach the child how to be a male. Having had that experience himself, he will be able to say to the child, the same gender child, this is how it is. And the mother can speak to what she has seen, but the father will be able to speak to what he has experienced. Um, and children want their father to be able to look at them and say, I'm proud of you. It's one thing when your mom does it, but it's another thing when you hear it from your father. And studies have shown that when fathers are affectionate and supportive, it greatly affects the child's cognitive and social development. It also instills an overall sense of well-being and confidence. I think of my own father, and I remember one morning I was going to school. He used to walk me to school in the morning because I had to go. I'm a country girl, I come from country. So he would walk me to the crossroad to take the bus. And I remember one morning I was coming and I knew that it was a ghost. Believe me, I knew it was a ghost. It was coming straight ahead. It was coming straight at us. And I tugged onto my father's hand and he pulled my arm into his. And let me tell you, I felt safe.
Hmm.
And even to today, and I am no chicken, I still remember that tug. I still remember that. And my mother has hugged me several times, but there's something about what my father did that morning that made me know that he was my protector. And so, even as a father shows a child, it is said, and research has shown, it's almost like the father is the foundation for the child to understand relationship, how to relate to each other, how to relate to a spouse, how to relate to friends of various of the different gender. He sets the platform for relationship, and he helps a child to understand to make those distinctions. Of course, the mother complements as well, but a father shows the boy how to treat a girl, shows the boy how to just do the man thing, how to stand, how to just do certain things. Somebody just said a while ago that a mother can't teach a boy how to urinate. That's true because you do it by model, yeah, and he sees it and he does it, and the father is loving and gentle. His daughter looks up to him and recognizing that when she's old and dating, that she looks for someone who is strong and valiant, but also has that same kind of gentle and positive character traits.
And
And of, yeah,
if
go
I
ahead.
may interject, it's interesting that you say that because when I look at my husband
Hmm.
and I look at my dad, they have so much in common. And it's almost as though I
Ah,
got married to my dad without recognizing.
well,
So
what
I
can I
didn't
tell you?
deliberately go searching for my dad, but here it
Mhm.
is. I have a husband with so much in common with my father.
And the positive character traits, the positive things are true. Similarly, the negative things are true.
Uh-huh.
So, but you do find some children who, because of other forces or other influences, they're able to distinguish and to be able to say, "Hey, this is not right." And so, even though my father may be doing this, I'm not going to follow through because it is not right. but it is very distinct what the father brings, and certainly there is a sense of hardiness, but a sense of gentleness mixed with it that the mother brings, that the father brings. On the contrary, the mother brings a whole sense of sensitivity with a little sense of hardiness. So there is a balance that is brought to the whole thing. There's a researcher by the name of Meg Meeker, and she said that strong mothers, strong sons, strong fathers, strong daughters.
Yes, go right ahead.
So both mother and father have a place, but when the father is absent, the mother, the child suffers. It is said too that there's a sense in which that the father brings structure, the father brings order, the father brings some kind of understanding, and these values the child will have to take across to the other communities, to the other that they will have to interact with. So it starts in the home, and when the child sees the hierarchy with the father at the head, he understands God. He or she understands God as head.
Yes.
He understands when he goes to school that there's a principle where there's a male or a female, but there's a structure in place because of what is set. And the father is usually the one who is seen as the one at the head of the house. So there is that structure that the child sees and is able to take to the various communities, to the various agents that they will have to interact with, school and church and the community at large.
All right, thank you for that. And even as I think about my own family and how it is that I see my son interacting with me as opposed to how he interacts with his father, I recognize that when it comes to me, he's a little, he takes his time and he cuddles with mommy and so on. But when it comes to daddy, he's rough with daddy. And not just that, I recognize daddy teaches him a lot of resilience. So he rides with the bicycle, and I will say, no, don't let him ride on the bicycle without the training wheels. He's going to fall. Daddy, on the other hand, says, yes, man, but if him fall, just brush himself off and go again.
Absolutely.
And so our approach it's a little different, but then when it comes together now, it creates the sort of balance that is needed.
Absolutely. It is said that the father should be the first date for the child. Yeah, and the converse, the mother should be the first date as well. But there should be that kind of interaction so that the child understands how she should be treated. The girl understands how she should be treated, and the boy understands how he should treat. And as I said, a lot has to do with not just what you say, but what you model. So even if the parent, the father, is not physically there in the household, how he treats the child's mother says a lot. And so he's watching, he's looking, and he's following through, because that is that's the foundation that he has. Without that foundation, he will grab at a straw. And that's why it's so important for the father to be there and to be very present.
All right. Thank you so much. So it's time for a break. And just so you know, the numbers for the FLM head office in Kingston are 876-920-1034 or 876-926-8101. We will get back and be here. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere. But before we go to this break, let's get a word to Flesh Moment with Rev Mike in this episode of WTF Words to Flesh Moments with Rev Mike.
Ever since Edith Clarke's book was released in 1957, titled My Mother Who Fathered Me, that expression has been used by many to refer to mothers who have been single-handedly raising their children. But can a mother really play the role of a father? Maybe she can try, and we applaud those who have done so. But here are 2 reasons why this should not become a cultural norm. Number 1, design. The Genesis record of human beginnings says in Genesis 1:27, so God created man in his own image. Male and female created he them. Then throughout the Bible, specific roles are assigned and kept. Mother as nurturer and helper of the family, and father as provider and protector. Number 2, data. Human development data shows that children from fatherless homes are more likely to be poor, become involved in drug and alcohol abuse, drop out of school, and suffer from health and emotional problems. Boys are more likely to become involved in crime, and girls more likely to become promiscuous and get pregnant as teens. Even when there is need for overlap in the roles of mother and father, it should never become the accepted norm for the father to be missing in action. For a mother cannot father a child properly any more than a father can suckle a child. Design and data. Let's follow God's plan. I'm Reverend Mike from Fellowship Tabernacle, and we just had a WTF moment.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on Love 101, you're invited to listen to Good Morning Minister, a weekly feature where government ministers will speak about the development in their various ministries. Listen for the updates and have your questions and concerns ready to share inside Good Morning Minister as the Minister of Information, Robert Nesta Morgan, and a guest minister or agency head discuss the issues and take your questions and suggestions. Get ready to call in during Good Morning Minister, 11 a.m. on Wednesdays, right here on Love 101, the family station. Rise with the sun and face the day with some Lasco instant chocolate. Pull a pack, stir it up. Hot or cold, enjoy the chocolatey goodness any time of the day and unleash instant smiles, instant happiness.
Introducing Bethel Bible College of the Caribbean, Jamaica. Choose from our range of options: a 4-year Bachelor of Theology degree with a minor in guidance and counseling, or a 3-year diploma in theology. A 4-year Bachelor of Theology degree, a 1-year certificate in Christian ministry, levels 1 and 2. Plus, we'll have 6-week courses which provide you with flexible options to enhance your knowledge and skills. All our programs are fully accredited by the University Council of Jamaica. Bethel Bible College Caribbean.edu.jm.
All right, it's now 6:04 p.m. Welcome back to our program. And we're looking at what can a father do that a mother can't. We have a voice note that we would like to play for you right now.
Hello, panel. Good evening. The only thing that a man can't do to a child that a mother can is to breastfeed that child. That's all I know. But everything else, the man can do it because he can bathe the child, comb the child hair, lotion the child, put on the child clothes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for participating. And I'm right there with you. I believe that our men are able and we can help to empower them to do all that they can do. All right. So we're right here with Dr. Joan, and we want to continue the discussion looking at our fathers and whether it is that mothers can father. So, Dr. Joan, can you tell us what is it that the fathers bring to the table? I hear persons talking about fathers being providers, but do all fathers provide? What do we mean when we say that fathers are providers?
Well, it is traditionally, and certainly the Bible speaks of that the father is supposed to ensure that there's food on the table. We have come to a place now where in our dispensation, in our culture, and they both mother and father participate in the provision of the food on the table, because mothers are working now, and so there is a collaborative effort. And in some instances, you find that each of them will assume a particular role. So one will say, "I do light bill, water bill, that kind of thing," and they sort of. But the role of head and the role of provider for the father still obtains, because at the end of the day, he is still responsible for his children, for his family, even though they may have an understanding with the mother that this is how they're going to appropriate the spending. So you can arrange it, you can whatever, but at the end of the day, it is still the responsibility of the head of the house to ensure that what is to be provided is provided. So even if it is a wife that has been delegated to, and notice my choice of words, that he still should ensure that that is done.
All right.
And provider is usually seen as the food on the table, but there's a little bit more in terms of provision in terms of education, provision in terms of somewhere to sleep, somewhere safe, and so you provide all of that in one package for your child. So it's not just the food; it's also the shelter. It's also the safe space. Is also the provision of to facilitate education, to ensure that those things are done. So different members of the other member of the couple may choose to do certain things, but the father should should superintend, so to speak, based on him being the head of the household. And I know that some person may be throwing the book at me. Very traditional, but that's okay. I believe the Bible, and whilst I don't believe that the woman should be viewed as subservient or should be treated in any way in that regard, I still believe that the man is still the head of the household.
All right, thank you. How important is it for fathers to play with their children?
The fact is, and you heard the gentleman just now in the bite, he mentioned how safe a child feels when the father is present, and not just physically present alone, but also involved in the child's life. It's very important when the father is there, because the research shows that when a father is absent, the child is poised for greater risky behavior, because you see, the father is like the compass, and he directs and redirects. The mother sometimes is preoccupied with the little fineries and so on, but the father will look and see the directions and be able to say, "Hey, this is to the boy, this is how you cut this, and this is what you don't do." And to the girl, these are some of the things that you should watch out for to be street smart. Yes, the mother can do those things as well. But as I said, when you speak from your own personal experience, when you speak because you have been there, it makes a difference than when you're just speaking about something you've heard of or you have seen someone do. So the social, the way you behave in a social space as a boy, the way you should behave in a social space as a girl, how do you carry yourself, and the kind of dignity, the kind of way that you can be viewed if you carry yourself in a particular way. Yes, the mother can tell you that too, but when you hear it coming from your father, it's a different tone, certainly a different tone, but it also says that this came from my dad, and because my dad cared. A little boy on Steve Harvey, a little girl on Steve Harvey's show, she was saying that Steve Harvey said to her, "Who is that over there?" And she says, "Oh, that's my dad." And she said, and Steve said, "Oh, that's your father, eh?" And she says, "No, that's not my father. That's my dad."
Mm-hmm.
And Steve was very quick. He says, "Anyone could be a father, but it takes a special man to be a dad." And when she said dad, it was said with that kind of love and connection. And it was clear that she had something special with her father. Are we having a caller?
Yes, we have a caller now. Caller, go right ahead.
Hi, good evening. Hello?
Yes, we're
Hello?
hearing you. Good evening. Welcome to
Good
Family
evening to
Time.
you. Good evening to you, and good evening to Dr. Pinkney.
Hi.
I'm just, concurring what has been said by Dr. Jones, and because I have two children, and their father passed away right at the moment when they were learning to appreciate what a father, the role of a father, And what I observed though is that although they were quite young, just started high school, some kind of an impact that daddy had on his daughter, my daughter, up to this day, even in choosing a life companion. She's now a married woman. Even choosing a companion, the first time she met that young man, she saw her father in him, And she's remembering how daddy would lift her and put her into that vehicle as young as she was to go to school, And I observed that she now, at her better, she's even more organized in everything she does, because everything she does with her father in mind. My son never got that kind, he never developed a relationship with his father as yet, And so, with the absence of father, he still missing his father. And because even if you find another person, another man to mentor your child, he still can't even play that role that a father would play in his child's life. So I am agreeing that a mother cannot be a father. You do your best, you're a nurturer, but you cannot play the role of a father. God gave man a special gift to handle the family, and I feel sorry for the fathers who are missing out on that. But I am still feeling very sad that my children did not get the full experience of their daddy. It's just that my daughter, she's living out of the love and kindness that she received from her father for the short time she had him.
Right.
So I'm just agreeing with what Mr. Jones is saying right now. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Listen to your own experience, and it sounds like mine. Sounds just like mine with my children. Yes. So I thank you for this discussion this evening. I know many more parents are listening. Okay.
Yes, and thank you so much for calling.
You're most welcome. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I wanted to also add, Marsha, that intellectually, the male thinks differently. The male has, if you start a discussion, he goes to the logics. The woman is going to go to the emotion, and she wants this, and the man is going to go to the logics. And so those two distinctions, just the way he thinks, just the way she thinks, just his general carriage, the way he sits. If you look at the way a man sits and a woman sits, it's different. And so those kinds of things that are supposed to be natural, but they're not always natural. And some boys has to see someone doing it so that they can model. And so those distinctions make, in addition to several others, of course, but just think about it, the way a man thinks. If a woman goes to a wedding and a man goes to a wedding, the woman is gonna come and tell you about the dress of the bride and how they're late, the food never tastes good, and all of those various things, and whose clothes never look good and whose clothes look nice. The man is just gonna say, "We went to the wedding, the bride was late, and it was okay, and we're happy that we're home safe." And of discussion.
I certainly
wonder if you both were at the same place. But a man thinks differently, and so his way of guiding his child is going to be not out of sort, but it's going to be different because of his gender.
All right. Thank you so much. We're heading into our final break, and this is Family Time live on Love 101 FB and on YouTube. It's produced by Family Life Ministries. For our social media interaction, we want you to let us know, what can a father do that a mother can't? Let us know via WhatsApp, text, or voice notes, no longer than 30 seconds, to 876 997 3125 on the Love 101 FB page and the Love 101 YouTube channel, or call the studio lines 876-968-8327 to 8 to participate. We're also on FB and YouTube Live. We want to hear from you. Don't go away. This evening, we're talking about why mothers can't father, or why mother can't father me, with counseling psychologist Dr. Joan Pickney. Stick around, we have more.
Downswell Records, in association with Best Dressed Chicken, presents the Kevin Downswell album launch and concert featuring John Mark Wiggins, Sarge, Alicia Taylor, Shane Mays, DJ Reaper, DJ Sticko, Jermaine Cohen, and O'Neal Watson. Tickets $7,000, VIP $10,000 with preferred seating and food. SpurOpen.com/the album launch, Saturday, July 1, 5:30 p.m. The Ambassadors, 63 Hadley Park Road, Kevin Downswell. This is a can't miss.
Simplified customer due diligence is part of each financial institution's Know Your Customer process. As part of Simplified CDD, the information required includes a valid ID, tax registration number, and source of funds.
This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Here's why you can't afford to miss the Morning Watch.
I love listening to the Morning Watch because topics are discussed and issues are highlighted that are of major importance, which in turn edify me.
The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
I like listening to the Morning Watch. I find it very informative. I find it very interesting. The topics that are covered are very, very wide.
The Morning Watch, thought-provoking, insightful, current. Listen for the probing questions with attorney at law Stokely Marshall and the in-depth discussion with Reverend Dr. Dallin Toussaint. On Tuesdays, the Morning Watch is brought to you by Holtz Hardware, the leader in electrical building and everything for the home, and the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, achieving prosperity through partnership and development. The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The Morning Watch is on the family station, Love 101.
All right, welcome back. It is now 6:18 p.m. You're tuned in to Love 101, and this is Family Time, brought to you by Family Life Ministries. There is a WhatsApp in the group there's a WhatsApp message, and it's from Sister Ingrid, and she says, "Good evening. When the fathers are in the house, the children feel more protected and safer than when their mother alone is there." And I see the line is going up. So we have another caller that we want to hear from this evening.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. Welcome to Family Time.
Yes. Well, I have two theories. A lady in my district had 11 children, and her husband went away to England, and he died. 5 boys and 6 girls. And the lady, man, over the 11 children, keep them in church, and he ended with 6 teachers. 2 of them were headmasters, and the others, and everybody stayed in the church, and we call her the mother, the super mother of the district. And there,
absolutely.
On the other side now, I came up and I got married, and I have 2 children with my wife. and she started to travel. And I took a boy and a girl, and I took charge of the house.
Mm-hmm.
What really happened? I did everything possible for my daughter. And when she went away to Florida and up there with her mother, on Mother's Day, I get a gift and a little token.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother was all upset. And when Father's Day, I got my gift otherwise. And when mother spoke about it, she went to church. And and my daughter told the minister, said, my daddy is more than a daddy. He's a daddy and a mother. And if there was a choice for her to say who she would want to burn her, who don't want daddy to burn. So there are two different things.
All right.
All right.
So you have fathers and you have the wearer of pants, of which it is sad to say so.
Right.
Fathers are just fathers,
Mm-hmm.
and mothers are just mothers.
I agree with you. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Thanks for calling.
And that's a good point, because once you become a parent, it should change everything. It should change the way you view life, because you then become secondary, so to speak. And so the commitment should really be there for your children, and to give. And that's why you really should wait until you're ready. But very often that doesn't happen, that the children come before we're actually ready for them to come. But once a child comes, you need to man up, you need to woman up. And so circumstances will cause one parent or the other to be there. It doesn't mean that the other parent is not missed and a void is not created. Because what I'm hearing from him is that she wasn't there, and in the way that her father was there. She was expressing appreciation, because when she needed to draw on a parent, he was the only one that she had to draw on in that physical space.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is what she's celebrating. She is not ignoring the fact that she had a mother, and the mother has a space in her life. And so she became more connected to the father. But it doesn't mean, and I'm sure if you speak with her about her femininity, she'll tell you that she drew from other women.
Yes. So thank you so much for that. Now, there are so many statistics out there about some of the negative impacts that can occur on persons. And I believe that Pastor spoke about some of them earlier.
Right.
Now, if you're a single mother, and we're saying that a mother cannot father,
Right.
what are some of the things that you would recommend a single mother to put in place to ensure that her child can be wholesome all the same?
Right. Well, the first thing is to recognize that as a mother, you cannot fill the place of the child's father. And as long as the father is not causing harm to the child should be allowed to interact with her father or his father. If the father is not available, or is, and this may be because of death or whatever, it is always good to have someone, not necessarily someone that you are going to have a relationship with, but it could be someone in the church, it could be a pastor, it could be an uncle, it could be someone whom you trust, and you keep abreast of what's going on in that relationship, because you know how things have been and how things can go. But to have someone in that child's life who they can model as a role model is very, very important. And as I said, and I want to reiterate it, that you must keep a check, because sometimes some of those relationships can go bad. Be the best mother that you can be, but ensure, as I said, have a trusted father figure for your child, someone who will represent the values, someone who will represent the kind of character traits that you want your child to emulate.
All right. Thank you so much for that. What role do you see the church, for example, playing in helping single mothers?
Well, the church can educate men who can afford to be surrogates or can be quote unquote substitute fathers or father figures for young boys and young girls. The church can provide some kind of guidance in that regard so that men know appropriate behavior, the boundaries that should be set, and how they can deal with it without it being perceived that you are either trying some hanky panky with the child or the boy, or trying to get to the mother, but that you're just trying to be there. And so the church can provide those kinds of men whom they would train, who are available to be there for the men. The church can also, through the women's group, can help the mother to know how to identify persons of that regard so that they can have that kind of mentorship within the child's family.
All right. Thank you so much. And finally, can you re-emphasize for us why a mother can't father and what words of encouragement you can leave with your listeners?
Right, so a mother can support a child. A mother will support her child, and she will be the best parent, the best mother that she can be, and she should celebrate that. And we can't overemphasize the congratulations to those women who have been there for their daughters and sons. But the biological differences between the genders speaks for itself, yeah? And so we have to appreciate that whilst you would like to be there in the fullest for your child, you cannot be a male for your child to emulate. You cannot be a father for your son, and you cannot be a father for your daughter. And so with that understanding, you will seek the help and guidance as best as possible. Of course, as I said, be careful, because sometimes it can go to the end. As I said, also recognize that God, our creator, our father, is the greatest guide, the best example of what a father should be, and ensure that you have a relationship with him. Because sometimes in the midst of you not being able to have someone physically there, you can call on him and say, Lord, how do I treat with this thing? When your son asks a question that only a father can relate to, you can ask the Lord for guidance, and somehow he can give you that insight, that wisdom, so you can respond, or point you to someone who can appropriately respond to the child's need. Because as they become teenagers, they're going to want to be more connected with their kind. And so having that in place is very, very important. Doesn't take away from you being a good parent, a good mother. It doesn't take away from you giving your all. But what it is saying that you're giving the child the balance that the child should have, so that he can grow up in the kind of girl, kind of woman, the kind of boy, kind of man that you know God intended for him to become.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Joan, for being here with us this evening. If you have questions of a personal nature or are concerned about a friend or family member, call us at Family Life Ministries. For our center in Portmore at 117 Cecile Avenue, call 876-939-7917 for information on services, or for our counselors in Kingston and other parts of the island, you can contact our head office at 876-920-1034 or 876-926-8101. Note that appointments can only be made by calling the head offices. Otherwise, to keep up to date with what's happening with FLM and our programs, find us on Facebook at FLM Family Life Ministries and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries, FLMJA. Before you leave, here is this evening's Bible verse. 1 Corinthians 16 verse 13 says, "Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong." Join us again next week at 5:30 p.m. on Love 101. And of course on YouTube and FB, so that we can have another time together talking about family matters. Thanks again to our special guest, counseling psychologist, radio show host, lecturer, writer, and actress, Dr. Joan Pitney. Thanks also to our show producer, Kathy Gale, Open Door Communications, studio facilitator, Timoy Butler, and of course, you. Stay well, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm Rev Marsha. Bye bye.